Hey, this is Dwyer Brown. I played John Kinsella in the movie Field of Dreams, and you're watching the Amato Podcast. Hey guys, want to have a catch?
Here we are. Today I'm talking to Stacey Chillemi. Stacey's on a mission to transform the health of millions worldwide. She's the author of The Complete Guide to Natural Healing and Natural Remedies for Common Conditions, which is very pertinent to everything that's going on today, along with 20 other published books, which is amazing. She's the founder of The Complete Herbal Guide and a recognized health and natural remedies expert with over 20 years in practice as a health coach. She has written for the Huffington Post, Thrive Global, and Medium. You've been a guest on the Dr. Oz show, local news, and numerous radio shows. That's a nice bio. Uh, I appreciate you coming in today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Sure. Could you give everybody just a brief background of you?
Well, I started with I had basically, when I first I started writing in college as just a hobby. And, I had developed epilepsy at the age of 5 years old. And I had struggled all my life with coping with seizures and getting my seizures under control. And as I went into college, had become a real struggle, the late night studying, the stresses, that college takes and, on you. And I was starting to get an increased number of seizures due to the stress that I was dealing with from college. And I had written an article and I had sent it into the Epilepsy Foundation. They have a newspaper, and I asked them to publish it. And I asked them to ask other people, how do they cope with epilepsy? How do they deal with this disorder? Because it was so hard to, I wanted to move on. I had such high goals for myself, and I just didn't know if I was going to be able to reach those goals. And surprisingly, I had received over 300 to 400 letters from all over the United States and Canada from people who had epilepsy, which sharing their stories, explaining how they dealt with epilepsy and things that they do to get through each day and to make their lives better. And I was so amazed. And, at that moment, I felt that, I'm not alone. There are so many people out there, because back in the day, there was maybe like 4 or 5 books on epilepsy, and they were written by doctors. And basically the doctors' terminologies in those books kind of went over your head. If you didn't have a medical degree, you had no idea what these doctors were talking about. And, that kind of annoyed me in a sense, because it's like, how are people going to actually, how can they get help, if they don't, have the knowledge or the resources to, to find ways to help their disorder. So I started writing, and I hadn't finished that book. I kind of put it to the side because I was, working in college. And then as I went along, I had started with a big corporation in New York. I had started working with them when I finished college, and I had had a seizure. I had fell to the floor, and a producer had saw me have a seizure, and he kind of walked over me and kept walking. And 30 minutes later, I was let go of my position, and I was really, I didn't let it get to me. It was upsetting, but I didn't let it get to me. And I had just started when my in-laws had started a business. I decided to help them, get their business off the ground, and I started working on that book. And I had published that book, and it had received #1 on Amazon, and it became very popular. People had written to me and told me that, I had one person told me that I saved their life. The stories and the things I shared in the excuse me, the things I shared in the book, all the things that the suggestions and the different tools and techniques help them get through their living with their disorder. And at that point, I finally realized that, the words of wisdom is so powerful. When you do either a podcast, or you write an article, or you share something, you don't really realize how you're affecting other people's lives. People, strive to find information every day. They don't know where to begin. And at that point, I started realizing I could actually help people, and, these people who sent me all their letters helped me. I wrote a book, and then I was helping, hundreds of others. So I wanted to take a step further. And then I started a little blog, on Blogger back then. And, it had like 400 people come on the site. And then I had created a website from that. And it actually, I went to 10,000. And then I had started working with a gentleman who designed websites. He goes, I could really make this look really nice for you. And he created a website for me with all the information from Blogger. And it rose to a couple 100,000 people coming on the website. And at that point, I realized, it's not just about epilepsy. It's about everything. People that struggle with all types of illnesses, disorders, diseases. And, there are lots of ways to cope with it, and I also did a lot of freelance writing too. And a lot of the freelance work that I did, I was working for a herbalist, and he had me do a lot of research. And this is where the actual herbs and natural resources and all this other stuff came in. As I was actually doing all this research and writing and creating articles and journals for him, I took a lot of that information and I applied it to my own life. And it actually helped me and helped my condition. My seizures started to decrease, my health started to improve, and my life was actually getting better. And I started to actually, take what I learned and the things that I was going through and all the research that I was doing and writing. I created the book Epilepsy, not the my herbal book, at the Complete Herbal Guide, and I started basing my website off of that. I started writing about different herbals and how it could help each condition. And I just, over the years, I just grew and grew and grew. And then people, started to write, and a lot of doctors and professionals wanted to share their information, and it just grew out of control in a good way, so this is where I am today.
Back to the herbs. So I'm all about being healthy. If you looked in my lunchbox right below me, there's a lot of supplements and things like that. Because it seems like when you take, if your doctor gives you a medicine, maybe that medicine helps you for what you're taking the medicine for, but now you have another side effect.
Right.
Now you have to take a medicine for that. Now, by the time you're done, you're on 4 or 5 different medications. How can herbs help us
you
in
know
normal life?
I see that happen all the time. There's so many people have shared with me, they were on one medication and they had received a side effect from the medication. Then they went back, told their doctor, hey, I'm feeling this way. And the doctor gave them another prescription to help, to make that side effect go away. And before you knew it, they had 4 or 5 drugs they were taking. And a lot of these drugs, can be very harmful. But, I'm not against drugs at all. I'm actually, I take epilepsy. I take medication for my epilepsy. If it wasn't, it's the medication and the healthy living combined that makes my epilepsy, controlled. If I didn't take the medication and I just relied on herbs, I don't think my seizures, because they were so in depth and so out of control, I don't think it would just be able to, I would be able to control my seizures with just herbs and healthy living. I think I needed the medication, and some people do need medication. But there are a lot of things that you could actually improve in your life with eating healthy and using food for medicine and using herbals, like even, you can improve your immunity system by using turmeric and ginger. A lot of people like to do tea. Because the turmeric and the ginger taste really good together. There are different ways that, you can actually use different herbs to help high cholesterol and to help high blood pressure. And because there's a lot of static drugs that are really harmful and can control, make a lot of, side effects off the top of, my head. And it's crazy. So, it's good to try and to see if you could actually, make your life, healthier by using herbals, and different, healthy foods too. Because a lot of people, like, they don't feel good. And I say, well, what are you eating? And their diet is totally out of control, because people don't realize it, but your body, every time you eat food, it goes into your body. And if your body doesn't know what this is, if it has a lot of toxins and impurities in it, because a lot of the stuff today, just to make it, fresher on the shelves and to make it look plumper and to make it look, really good marketing wise, they put a lot of different toxic ingredients And a lot of even like the punches, you see the red dye for the punch, for fruit punch, that stuff could be cancerous. It could cause cancer.
Mm.
People, they put chicken, they insert it with like arsenic, different things to make it, look better and make it plumper and juicier. And, these things could actually, do damage. They're saying, well, it's only a little bit, but if you eat a lot of chicken and you eat a lot of this or drink a lot of this, in time, your body, is taking these toxins, doesn't know what to do with it. It's storing in your body, and it's actually weighing down all your organs. And it's actually, you're starting to feel fatigue. You're not feeling focused. You don't feel well. You're gaining weight. All these things are happening. Then you're running to the doctor, and trying to get all these different drugs to make you feel better when it's your diet, and people have to take that into consideration as well.
Chicken is a good example. I just know that for myself because I used to be into bodybuilding pretty heavily. And when you go to your regular supermarket and you see those really plump, juicy chicken breasts, just look at the ingredients. They definitely inject them with at least salt water. I don't know what else they're putting in, but when you order your chicken fresh or go to a place who has fresh chicken, the chicken breasts are a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But they taste better and they're healthier for you. So definitely food is number one.
And you'll
And
notice too, like if you go on the scale the next day, your water retention will be a lot heavier
mm,
too. Like you'll gain a few pounds because of the inflammation, because your body doesn't know what to do with the impurities in that chicken.
for us who have issues, you brought it up a little bit, blood pressure and cholesterol. What do we look for in some herbs that might help with that?
There are a lot of different herbs that could help with that. Red yeast rice is really good for, that helps with high cholesterol. There's a lot of different, things off the top of my head. I can't think of them because my memory is really poor. A lot of times, like I write everything down and stuff like that. I don't have any notes in front of me, but there are a couple of really good, popular, supplements that you could use to help with high cholesterol, to help with, red yeast rice is really, really good. It helps a lot with, with a high cholesterol. And they use it actually in a lot of medications too. But people don't know too is when they make medications, they use a lot of supplements in the medication as well.
Hmm. Okay, so when I first talked to you, we didn't have this virus going on, and we had scheduled our podcast. So I had my, basic questions about everything that you do. But now we're dealing with stress, normal stress,
Yeah.
compounded by people are not working. You just told me that your husband is a chiropractor and he's not working. We're really not working. I own a painting company.
Yeah.
How do we deal with that increased anxiety
You know,
that's
I
happening?
there's it's really a stressful time, and a lot of people, we especially when we don't know what to expect. The fear of the unknown tremendous on, anxiety, and the fear of what's going to happen. How am I going to pay my bills? Who's going to pay my car payments? How am I going to pay for my mortgage? And some things you can do too is, I've seen a lot of stuff out there. You need the right resources, because there are a lot of information out there that is incorrect and making people really scared on the internet. And a lot of times, like I'll see the news, they'll post the most scariest statistics, or they'll say the most scariest things on, and it's freaking people out. They're talking about all the deaths, and they're talking about all the things happening, but there are over 85% of the people are going to get through this fine, that contract it. It's not, it's something, that you should actually, I think the CDC is really good for getting information for finding the proper statistics and information on the coronavirus. You have to go to websites that are reputable. The government websites are really good. They're posting actual numbers that are actually, statistically correct, and they're giving a lot of good tips and tools on, how to cope with it. Also, yoga is very good too. Just the stretching, and just, maybe put in relaxing music in the background, or just clearing your mind, and doing a little bit of yoga. They have yoga that you can find on YouTube, basically just for anxiety. There are certain
Hmm.
poses that actually stimulate relaxation and clearing of the mind. And if you go on YouTube and you type yoga for anxiety, there'll be a bunch of really good videos that will pop up right away. And then you could also do music therapy. Music therapy is very relaxing as well. If people are really, feeling the anxiety and not be able to focus, take like 15 minutes in a room that's quiet, close the door. There are, like, again, you can go on YouTube. There are specific music that is actually relaxing to the mind and actually calms you down. And if you close your eyes and you just focus on the music and you just try to clear your brain, not think of anything, and just focus on the tunes, you'll see a huge improvement in the way you're feeling. You'll start to feel more relaxed, more calm, and you can put, think about an image that really makes you relax, something that you enjoy, something that you like, and, just focus on that one image, and that can help you as well.
Are there any specific herbs we should be looking at for stress or anxiety off the top of
Um,
your head?
the different things is lavender is really good for
Mm.
stress and anxiety, and you can not even just you could put it on your skin where you can smell it, or you could put it on your pillow. A lot of people have
Or
trouble sleeping at
on my
night.
bracelet. I
On
have
your
a bracelet.
bracelet.
Yeah, I have a bracelet I carry around. Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. That's like the number one thing that's really good. And even like if people like to take baths, they can use like, Epsom salts that have the lavender scent to it. Their calamine is really good. It's very relaxing. It's another flower, and it's just like lavender, but it just has a different scent to it. But it's very relaxing. Passion flower is a really good supplement herb that helps with relaxation, and it actually helps you to sleep at night. Some people will take it and they'll take it before they go to bed. You could even, they have like a supplement in a capsule form, or you could take it underneath your tongue, and it actually makes you very relaxed. It's kind of like a Xanax, but a
Hmm.
natural form of it.
So people, I don't know if they realize, but stress and anxiety can physically make you feel sick or make you sick. So
Yeah.
stomach issues, digestion issues, um, headaches, skin issues, and also we talked before hair issues.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the hair issues for men and women?
Well, stress is one of the major things that could cause hair loss. People don't realize it. A lot of times when we think of hair loss, we think of just the men, and, because for some reason, people, don't like to talk as much about hair loss for women. A lot of women struggle with hair loss almost as just as men. Men have more hair loss than women, but women are just right underneath them. And there's millions of women in the United States alone that suffer from hair loss. And, over time, stress could actually cause a lot of hair loss. It could be from your DNA, in your genetics, but stress definitely can cause hair loss. A lot of people have experienced hair thinning and hair loss from stress. And, there are different things that you can do. There are different, if you start to see yourself, experience some hair loss, you should try different natural ways. One thing that I like, there's a company, they have hair restore. They have shampoo and conditioners that they create, and they have serums that can actually help regain the hair loss that you're experiencing. Because a lot of times people don't realize, but the testosterone increase turns into um, a form of DHT, which is a hormone, and it can make the hair follicles actually smaller, and then it blocks, it could cause the hair loss, where these shampoos and conditioners block the DHT, and it actually can help your hair follicles actually go, you can grow hair, and it can, and opens up the hair follicles, so, your hair doesn't, you can actually get the hair growth, and it's not your hair loss isn't permanent. And there are different, things. They have caffeine, biotin. These are different supplements that are really good. I like, biotin is very good. I actually take biotin, and I use the shampoo and conditioner myself. And I actually, when I went to the hairdresser, she had made a comment that my hair looked so much thicker and healthier, and my hair was actually starting to grow more rapidly. I actually have my husband on it now, and I have my son who's in college, and he's starting to experience the little hair loss on the sides, so he's started using it as well. But there are lots of different, supplements, and it's really good when you can, there's so many things out there, and I've tried a lot of different things, and, but this company, Hair Restorations, makes a really good product, and I've actually seen a lot of, success with it. I've even, companies have sent me like the helmets, that you can put on and stuff like that. And we didn't, I had someone had alopecia try it, and she didn't really receive that much success with it. But with this product, I've seen a lot of improvement in my hair growth and my husband's hair growth, and my son is starting to see, his hair is starting to become a little thicker, he said, so
Hmm.
it's been, but caffeine is really good, biotin's really good, green tea extract is really good for the hair, and these are different supplements that can actually, help with hair loss.
And you mentioned it for back to bodybuilding, for bodybuilders who take testosterone, and they're going to, no matter what
Yeah,
anybody says, it
yeah,
converts to DHT. And that's
yes,
why if you look at bodybuilders who take a lot of steroids, their hair is thin or they don't have hair.
right,
So
exactly.
there's a good product to try. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How about the role of CBD in dealing with stress, anxiety, and just everyday natural living?
CBD is very, very good to try, but you also have to make sure if you're taking anybody before, when they try supplements, if you are taking medication, you have to just make sure your medication doesn't interact. Like for instance, there are certain medications that CBD can interact and cause like for the medication Keppra, which is used for epilepsy, and it's used for depression, and it's used for different types of illnesses, it could actually reduce the potency of the medication. So if you're going to try CBD and you're taking medication, just check with your doctor, and make sure that the medication, it's not going to interact with the medication. But CBD is very good for stress. It's very good for relaxation. It's very good for lots of different things. It even helps with pain. It helps with many things, and it's a form of from the marijuana leaf, probably has over 1,000 different types of strains in it, and it's the part of the leaf where it doesn't have the THC and it's pure, and it helps to actually, it will block certain things in the brain to help you relax and to help you feel more calmer. And I've taken the capsules, I've tried the serum, and I've tried the gummies, and I actually like the gummies the best for me personally. And you have to also make sure if you're going to buy CBD, you have to make sure you find a good company that's really good and has a good reputation.
Mm.
Charlotte's Web is a company that I deal with that is very good. They've actually helped a lot of people, and they've gotten a lot of media exposure because their company makes good quality CBD. And there's other companies I like Nature's Script. I like their gummies, worked really well. And there, people, everybody's body works differently. So what works for me may not work for you. So, but make sure that before you buy CBD, look up the company, look up their reputation, and, make sure it's a good quality CBD.
Do you have an opinion on medical marijuana in a healthy lifestyle?
I'm for medical marijuana in a healthy lifestyle. I've seen many people in the epilepsy community that take it for their seizures and have had, success with it. You really have to, I would, they are trying it with patients and so forth. But I think you have to talk to your doctor too, because you can't just, wean yourself off of if you're taking medical marijuana for, and you're taking medication, you can't, some of these medications, your body comes physically dependent on the medication you're taking. So I've seen people try to take themselves off of medication, and they've had a very bad experience. If you want to try medical marijuana, I think you need to discuss it with your doctor first. And because they are trying it in a lot of the different fields, even for pain, it works really well with pain. I've seen a lot of people who've experienced a lot of pain, had a lot of pain reduction when they've used the medical marijuana. So, but you need to really, I think this is something you have to talk with your doctor as well. If you have an actual illness that you're battling with, maybe speak to your doctor, or speak to, and if your doctor is not for it and you really want to try it, find a doctor who supports it and that actually can work with you, because trying to be your own doctor sometimes doesn't always work either.
I was just going to say it's you have to find that doctor who's progressive and up to date and wants to learn new things, because a lot of times just going to the doctor and, you want to discuss, using hormones in the right way or using medical marijuana in the right way. A lot of them will just shut you right down and won't even talk to you about it. So
Yeah.
definitely look around for a doctor that can help you. And if they won't help you, find another doctor.
Yeah, and the one bad thing right now is that every state has their own laws and regulations. So, like, people I've seen people move out of the states and move to different states. There was one little girl, she had uncontrollable seizures, and the medical marijuana in one state that she was living in, they gave the parents, because the parents tried everything. They gave the parents a bunch of leaves and said, here, because it was just and then they went to Colorado, and over there they had found organic marijuana, and they actually took the strains out for the little girl's seizures, and they actually, it's just every state is different because the rules and regulations are different, and sometimes you have to really look into it, do your research, and because you might have to, you have to really find out what's actually going to work, and you can't, medical marijuana can have a lot of different strains in it, and you have to get the right strains. You can't just smoke some marijuana and think it's going to help you. It's just you have to, there's specific strains in a marijuana leaf for specific things, and it could actually help specific things. So you really need to have a doctor or a medical facility extract the strains that are going to help your specific illness or condition.
I have a few friends who use medical marijuana, and just as you just said, it's not as simple as
No.
just going to get what you want.
Yeah.
It'll blow your mind. Um, Organic, is it important when I go to the supermarket? Can it make a big difference if I'm shopping organically and
I actually suggest that it's very hard. A lot of people, they live on a budget, and or when you go into a food store, the organic stuff is really expensive. It could be double the price, or it could be a third higher of the price. And for people who do really well for themselves, it's fine, it's no problem. But for someone who struggles on a weekly basis and is making ends meet, or is on a limited budget, buying everything organic is just not realistic. I think there is specific foods that should be organic, like we mentioned, the chicken and certain meats. I think if you can afford to buy the organic meats, you should. I also suggest for eggs and milk, you should definitely do organic.
mm,
A lot of things nowadays, like you'll see a lot of little girls are experience menstruation at a very young age. You'll see a lot of things happening because the hormones in the eggs and the milk actually changed a lot of the body structure, and caused because they were injecting the cows, like for instance, with all different hormones and antibiotics. Because I read a book that one lady I knew, an author, she had given me, and she did studies on what was going on. They would put hundreds of cows in one specific small area, and these cows would be extracted. They would give them antibiotics. One cow would get sick, and they would give all the cows antibiotics. They were pushed together, and they were giving them hormones to make them bigger, so they can get more milk from them, and it was terrible because all these things we're drinking those hormones, and we're drinking the antibiotics, and what is that doing to our bodies? And like as I mentioned, the hormones that they were giving the cows were actually making the little girls menstruate at an earlier age. Some girls were going through menstruation at the age of 8,
mm.
and it was just changing their bodies. They were starting to get figures that they shouldn't get until they were teens, and developing breasts and things like that because of the hormones. The hormones were changing the structure of their body, and it can change your brain and your thinking pattern. Hormones could do a lot to you. Our bodies are function off of hormones. So and eggs are the same thing. They put hundreds of eggs, chickens together, and they do the same things with the chickens and stuff like that. So if people eat a lot of eggs and you're eating eggs every day, you should do the organic, because these are things that actually, you don't want those hormones. You don't want all those, antibiotics, in the foods that you eat the most. And most people drink a lot of milk, and they drink a lot of, they eat a lot of eggs for breakfast. So it's, and especially bodybuilders. I know that they, can eat like 3, 4 eggs just for the protein, so you really, those are things that you should, actually eat, organically, things that, make a difference, like bananas. I don't think you really need to have organic bananas. I don't think, um, you know, uh, you know, there are certain things that, don't make a difference, but meats, cold cuts, different things like, I would try to, eat organically, you have to really be judgmental and think about it. And then, maybe do a little research and reading on different, you'll see a lot of different health nutritionists, and they'll suggest what foods matter the most. You can go online, and there are a lot of health coaches that will, that you can find out, what you could type in, what foods do I you need to eat organically, and the people, you'll see nutritionists, popular nutritionists, list different lists of foods that really matter, and foods, if you can't afford it, it doesn't really, take a toll on your body.
If we talk, can we talk about sexual health in terms of libido and using herbs that might be able to help a couple who maybe the husband doesn't have the same libido as the wife, up or down?
Yeah.
How can we use herbs in a healthy lifestyle to at least help us out any way we could?
There's a lot of, as we get older, a lot of men, experience, dysfunction, where, they're not, their body, they're not getting as hard as they were when they were younger. Their experience, their ejaculation doesn't work as well. There are different supplements that actually can help, improve a male in that sense. There are different, things, I really suggest too, going to your doctor, going to an herbalist, because they actually have different herbs. They have different tools that they could actually help. Also stress too. Stress plays a big role in a relationship. Finances plays a big role. Like when you're going through financial times like this, it actually puts a lot of stress on both the husband and the wife. And, the stress could actually cause dysfunction, sexual dysfunction for both the man and the woman. It can make a woman harder to feel an orgasm. It can make a man harder to get, experience ejaculation and experience, and so and it just the bonding as well. Just, if people are stressed, they can't connect as well. They're having a hard time, and also when you're working all the time trying to make ends meet, and you don't see each other as much, sometimes, the bonding kind of separates a little bit. You're not as close. I always suggest too, like it's always good to make a one day, like date night. Like my husband and I always like to do like a date night. Like on a Friday night, he'll try to get home a little early, and we'll go out either for, either have a drink or have a snack, go to a restaurant and just talk. Because during the week, even though you see each other when you get home, you don't get to spend that quality time. And if you have children, you're busy with the children, you're busy, doing stuff, around the house, and before you know it, it's time to go to bed. So, you don't, you have to have that connection time, and you should make time each week to have a day where you could actually spend time, talk to each other, and also expressing your emotions, being able to speak with each other and connect and share how you feel. Sometimes people don't like to share, how they feel, or if they're having sexual problems in the bedroom, they're embarrassed. They don't want to, and they keep it to themselves. And, you have to connect with each other, and you should, if you're not feeling that satisfaction, you should talk to your spouse or talk to your partner, and and really you have to work together as a team, in order to, because your connection, your verbal, speaking to each other, feeling that bond, everything plays a role in the bedroom. And it actually can play a role, with how well you perform in the bedroom. So you really have to work on connection. And if you feel that, because age and stress can actually, cause a lot of problems as well. There are supplements and things that you could do to actually improve, because as we get older, and even some of the blood pressure medicine could actually, cause problems, in the bedroom for lots of males. And, there are different, medications that could actually do a lot of harm, in the sexual area. So, you have to, speak with a doctor, and herbalists are great, to go to. They have a lot of different methods and different tools and different supplements that they can, do. And they also, what they do too is they do also a blood workout where they check, where a primary doctor won't do it, but a herbalist will give you a full blood workout to see where you're lacking, what vitamins you're lacking, what nutrients you're lacking, what hormones you're lacking. Because as we get older too, the testosterone declines for both male and women, for women, progesterone, and all our hormones, it starts to decline, and it starts to affect us in many ways. So sometimes, hormone therapy is, I'm all for hormone therapy. That, if but you shouldn't buy it over the shelves, because I see it all the time. They're selling, the progesterone and the testosterone. You should actually go to a herbalist, find out if you're lacking, what hormones you're lacking, and have them, tell you exactly how much you should take and what you should take and what you shouldn't take. And, you'll start to see an improvement. I actually went to a hormone therapist, and I found out that I barely had any testosterone left. My estrogen was fine, but my progesterone was very, I only had a little bit left. It was just like I was really declining. And I felt the changes. I was really tired, very fatigued. I didn't want to get out of bed. I felt I was always a up and friendly, bubbly type of person. I was feeling my moods change. I wasn't able to focus. There was lots of stuff going on with me, and I started noticing it as I started to get into my mid ages. And and I went to the hormone therapist. They did a full blood workout. They were telling me all the different things I was declining in. I started, going by what the doctor said, and in 3 months I started feeling an improvement in all areas of my life.
Mm. What do you think about IV therapy? I see a lot of the places popping up around us, where you can go in, and it's the same thing basically you just said. They do a little blood workup, hopefully,
I
and see what you're lacking in.
I've tried the IV therapy. They have like different types, they have vitamin, they induce you with different types of vitamins and stuff like that. And it's really good, but it also, it works, but you have to go a lot. And it could be a little costly too. And,
Mm.
insurance companies won't cover these type of things, but they do work, it boosts you up, with energy, and it can help you in lots of different ways. But I've seen a lot of people have had success with it. For me, I prefer just doing the hormone therapy, because it was just I had to go a lot for the IV treatments, and I just didn't have the time to go a lot for the IV treatments, because you have to sit there. It takes time. But if this is something, if you're willing to do, it could actually be beneficial.
What do you say to a couple where one maybe is very into a healthy lifestyle and does everything they possibly can, and the other could care less, and you both live together and you have to kind of mesh this world together?
Yeah, I've seen that. And what happens is the one person starts to feel really good and starts to feel better, and their outlook on themselves starts to really improve, and they start to change. And they actually, they'll, sometimes you can become really, not upset with your spouse or partner, but like, you get disappointed, because it's easier to be a team. Like I've had friends, and even my husband and I, we, started getting on a healthy track together. And it makes it really much better when you have two people actually boosting each other up, and participating in the healthy eating. When you have one person eating bad and then you're eating good, you could easily get off track, because it's the temptation is there, and then, and also, you want to see the person you care about, improve their life. But you can't change someone unless they want to be changed. As much as you can try, as hard as you can, whatever you do and, say, it's unless that person wants to change, it's just not going to happen. But it makes things difficult when you live in the same household together, and one person's doing it and one person's not. But you have to focus on you and your goals and what you want for yourself. So if that person's not going to do it, and you've tried and tried and tried, just focus on yourself, your needs, and what's best for you.
It's perfect. How has this virus and this social distancing affected you and maybe your business?
People right now, people are, closing their businesses up. So, you're not seeing as many people, want to work on different projects and work on different things. So there is a lack of business, and so it's hard. Everything slows down. Income slows down, your business slows down. The stress of what's good is that people are still on the internet and they're still, they want to read and learn. So when I post articles, they're there to read them, which is really good. But it's hard on a finance area. You're not going to see any in any industry. Everything's going to go down. But it's hard, and that's you have to try to work with that stress and realize that right now we've gone through a lot in our time, through if we look on in history, all the things that we've been through in life, and we've gotten through everything, just like we have in the past. This is a trying time for everyone, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to overcome it like we've overcome everything else.
Well, Stacey, you're awesome. I just wanna- Hopefully you can make people feel a lot better. I mean, it definitely made me feel better today. How can we find all of your stuff, all your content?
I'm located on the Complete Herbal Guide. It's thecompleteherbalguide.com. And we have all information on all different topics, from nutrition to fitness to different illnesses, conditions. We have lots of different recipes that we provide, food for medicine, and different ways to improve your life. And we talk about, yoga, meditation, everything you can think of. And we have a lot of different professionals that come on and they share their articles. Every day we have people sending articles in, with professional backgrounds, sharing their information and their advice. And it's a great resource to actually, if you're looking to either improve your life or keep yourself healthy, or looking for ideas, just in the healthy world, and how you can make your life healthy, to stay healthy, happy, and productive, come to thecompleteherbalguide.com. We have lots of information there, and you could always shoot us out a question or anything, and we'll be happy to respond.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and we'll put all your links up so everybody can go and take a look at you and hopefully grab some interesting content that can help them out. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Sounds great.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.